Hi everybody. I want to speak a little bit about autistic spectrum disorder. I'm going to start by embedding a videotape of a child with autistic spectrum disorder. He's about 3 years old. Receiving something along the lines of floor time type intervention. This was in context of an LIU clinical practicum, actually, at a preschool that the child was being treated. In any event, I'm going to embed that, then I'll come back and continue on with this introduction to autistic spectrum.
Low. 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 Okay, low. 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 More.
Better read it. Autistic, autism was a term that was developed by Leo Kanner in about 1943. He noticed that there were a group of children out there who had serious difficulty establishing social emotional relationships, especially with their caretakers and with others. Manifested by difficulty in establishing eye contact, an absence of being comforted by being held or otherwise related to by others. So the disability focused on the social component for quite a while. In the 60s, somebody by the name of Bruno Bettelheim coined the term refrigerator mother and identified focusing again on the social emotional component of autism, blamed actually women, mothers, for the disorder, claiming that mothers who have trouble establishing attachments to their children and bonding with children really contribute to the onset of autism. Of course, we now know better. Again, autism is a multi-system developmental disability. We don't really understand these days what causes it. It's probably a genetic, has a genetic basis, although it's probably a combination of genetic sites that contribute to it, and that's perhaps why that has not been pinned down at this time. You're all familiar, I'm sure, with other theories about causes of autism, including the idea that the measles, and mumps bacteria, the measles and mumps, impossible for me to say this, vaccinations, which have mercury in them, may somehow contribute to autism, but that has not been supported by research. Some people feel it's the food, it's electric, it's whatever. There seems to be an increase in frequency of autism over the years. I think we're now dealing with something like 1 in 43 children have autistic spectrum disorder. I think in terms of boys, I think it's 1 in 77 in terms of girls, something along those lines. And that's a big increase from 10 to 20 years ago. Why the increase? Perhaps there is something that is contributing to it that has not been around in the past. And perhaps it is being, I often say that autism is a designer disorder in the sense that there's more funding available for children with autism than there is for other categories of disability. And that may have led to possibly over-identification. Again, the disability area is quite heterogeneous. Kids who are identified as having autism often have a variety of symptoms, some of whom, some literally cannot establish eye contact and engage in social interactions. Others do to some extent. There are debates as to whether the 4 categories of disability within autism, Rett syndrome, Asperger's syndrome, autism proper, and PDD should all be considered part of a similar, the same spectrum. Rett syndrome and Asperger's syndrome are the most controversial. As a member of the autistic spectrum, some people feel they belong in their own categories. It's not atypical for parents, caregivers to report that their children with autism began their life developmentally as a typical child and someplace around 12 to 18 months regressed. I actually saw a videotape of such a regression from a parent who, as I do, videotaped her child on an ongoing basis. And I saw a child who, at the age of 12 months to 14 months, was developing in an apparently typical way, was developing language, and then from 12 to 18 months regressed. So by 18 months, that child was classically autistic, had lost language, and had lost that emotional component of herself that was so apparent at an earlier age. What I'm planning to do here is you will find that I will again refer to the Greenspan definition of MSDD in one of the 2 clips that I am posting for use, actually within both clips as I think about it, that I'm posting for you after this introduction. Then I will discuss 3 approaches to the assessment and treatment of autistic spectrum disorder. One is the operant approach of Lovaas, Ivar Lovaas, that is termed applied behavior analysis. The second is Greenspan's DIR floor time approach, DIR standing for developmental, individualized, and relationship-based. And also constructivism, which is an approach that incorporates both relationship-based elements and the work of Piaget, neo-Piagetian approach, not Piaget per se. In any event, that's where we're headed. I will post, this is Sunday afternoon right now, so you will find, hopefully you will have found by Monday 3 segments posted for you, and by Monday evening you should see 3 more dealing with these 3 different approaches to again, assessment and treatment. Okay, that's it for now.